Let me see if this is working. Click this. Oh yeah, there we go. Ah, all right. Looks like I'm live. That was a lot of work for this. This was a lot of work. I'm dead serious. Like, I want to see if I can share this on the Facebook page. If I can, then I'm gonna just keep rolling with stuff here. Looks like I can. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I've got the time right now to mess with this and see if it's gonna work. So there we go. All right, guys. So I am gonna be doing some of these sessions somewhat regularly if I can keep them up. If I can do them, I'm going to keep doing them. It looks like I have the ability right now to do it. So with that noted, I'm going to be giving away some stuff as well. So if you guys would go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube page, that would be awesome because you're going to need to be subscribed to be able to win any of these things. Some of the prizes that I have, the giveaway prizes, are simple things like fly tying kits. So what you're going to get out of this is a box of, come on, what do we got going on here? There we go. You're going to get a box of fly tying materials. So I know that's kind of blown out. Let me do this here for you. I'm going to zoom in where my vise is because we're going to be tying here in a little bit. But this basically has a bunch of stickers from Flyman Fishing, and then a bunch of materials pre-packaged, and the instructions for tying this stuff. Wow, is that blown out? I'm gonna have to change my settings on here. But basically, you're gonna get all the materials in that with some stickers, popper heads, and this is gonna be the Davy Jones popper package, which is a smallmouth bass popper that I tied up. I've got videos on it. What's really cool is this is gonna be enough for 2 flies. And your instructions are going to be on my YouTube channel. I already have videos that are on there so that you can see what you need to do, step-by-step instructionals on the tying videos. The other things that I have, thanks to Sims, and this is thanks to Sims Fishing. I bought these, okay? Look at that. This is a sweet hat. This has got like the drunken disorderly fly on it. I bought these hats, and I just didn't. I think they're too big for my head, to be honest. So Ryan's happy. Ryan from Risen Fly is happy because that means that I'm gonna be sporting his Risen hat for quite a bit longer now. But basically, if you stay tuned with me through what I'm calling the quarantine sessions, I have these hats that I'm going to be giving away. So this brown trout, this thing's pretty sweet. Special thanks to Sims. So I'm on their pro deal thing as a guide, and technically I'm not supposed to like give away or sell anything that I get with my discount. But I called him today, and I think I talked to a guy named Cameron, and he just said, hey, give us a shout out, and we're totally down for you to give this stuff away. So I've got 2 hats, and I've got, like I said, a fly tying kit with Davy Jones poppers in it. So the protocol for those is going to be to just, be subscribed to the YouTube channel, comment, and we'll go from there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and we're going to tie, we're just freestyling stuff here. We're going to tie an articulated streamer. I did a live Facebook video yesterday, which this is kind of a drunken disorderly style. It doesn't have a rattle in it or anything, but this is the style fly that we're going to tie again today. I might do some different colors, but basically that olive color with the white on the bottom. I'm going to try to improve the head. The head on that is pretty small, so I'm going to try to improve that so that we can get a little bit wider head, and maybe this thing will kick a little bit more in the water. But that's basically what I got going on. So let's just get right to it and start in. We're going to go ahead and start tying this. I have a lighter wire hook on the back. This is a Kona, right? I get these from Flyman Fishing. This is a size 1, and it's got kind of that stinger hook to it where the point of the hook points straight up toward the eye. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start in with that. So let's throw that in the vise. You guys, I have a comments enabled on this as well, so if you guys want to go ahead and comment along, you're more than welcome to. I'm still learning how this thing works, so as I'm doing this, we're just kind of rolling with things here and seeing what happens. So go ahead and ask any questions. I've got the live chat feed up, so if somebody's watching this and you guys want to go ahead and say something to me on the live chat, that would be helpful so that I know that it's working. It definitely would. Gonna come in here to probably about where the barb is on that. I'll come back a couple more wraps and then we'll go right there. I have not pre-prepped my materials, so there's going to be a little bit of horsing around here as I go ahead and reach for some of these materials. What I did last video was, as I opened this stuff up, I showed you guys that I used some of the softer fibers on the top section of a bucktail. Now this bucktail was long like this, right? And this top section, I just pop that off, and I'm going to go ahead and start by pulling some of these softer fibers off of the top here. These aren't going to flare out when I tie them in, so I'm just going to go ahead and clip off some of these softer fibers here. I'm not looking to throw a huge tail on the back of this thing, so I'm just going to grab a moderate size clump here and bring you back to my other shot so you can see that's about what I've got right there. Not a huge clump at all. I'm going to go ahead and cut that. Comb out my guard hairs. There are not a whole lot of really long guard hairs up in the top section of that, so that's kind of nice. All right, gonna tie this in here. I'm going about 1.5 times the length of the hook. So if I hold that up, you can see this is one length, and then there's another half length behind it. And I'm gonna go ahead and tie that in right here. Couple loose wraps. Spread it around. Pull that tight. That flares out. I'm not worried about it. I really just want to get that stuff trapped down very well on there. That's my main goal. Coming in here and just trimming off that hair. Like I said, if you're watching, you're going to keep hearing me say this until somebody comments. Maybe nobody's watching. That's fine. But if you are, please throw a comment in here. I have my comments enabled, and I'd like to know if people are seeing this. If you are, I'd like to be able to see if this comments thing works here. So go ahead and let me know. I'll just do this. There you go. First comment up. Let me know if you're watching. All right, I'm going to glue this. Just keep that in there. Wrapping this up. Okay, so that's the start to our fly. Looks like I got some really long fibers right down in the back there. What I'll do to just bring those together is I'll come back and I'll put some loose wraps in here. And then I'll move my way forward. See how that brought that up just a little bit more. All right, now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and grab some Mylar. That's what I was doing last time. I really liked it. I took Mylar and I'm going to cut it right here. And I'm going to go ahead and just cut this Mylar here. All right, I pull that long cord out of there like this. All right, and now this Mylar will just fray. All right, so when I come back, that Mylar is going to fray out. I'm twisting it in my hands. It's all braided together. And what I'm going to, almost too far. So you want it to stay connected right in the middle there like that. I'm going to slide this over. Boom. I'm going to put a couple wraps in here to snug it down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fray it all out. Push it back. Boom. just like that. Okay, so that's on there. Next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple hackle feathers. I did this yesterday. I believe that's what it was. Yep, checking my work. Okay, a couple of hackle feathers, some olive ones. Right, so I'm going to come in and I'm going to take some of these smaller fibers right off the back here. I take these smaller fibers and I'm not, you know, these don't, this is, I use these long ones for my musky flies, but obviously I'm not using these small ones for musky flies. So I'm gonna come in and get these rolling, kind of measure them out like that. All right. Lay this in. Take this one, get about the right length that I want. And lay that in. Okay. Trim that. Now, there's another material that I used yesterday that I really like. I told you guys about it. It's called Tarantula Hair. I'm going to grab some of that real quick. It's just webby stuff. It's kind of cool. It's like a little dubbing brush, but it's tied on wire. But it's got these like elastic, rubbery kind of legs. And all I'm using that for is a spacer. So I'm going to come in, pull a little bit of it out like that. And I'm going to run this probably from about right here to about right here. This is the same fly that if you watched my video yesterday on Facebook, you got this down already, but I'm tying another one because I wanted to be able to get one up on the YouTube page. I'm gonna start streaming via YouTube now, I think, just so I get more content up on the channel. Again, if you guys are watching, comment. Find the comment bar and comment. Apparently there's my comments are enabled on this right now, and I'm waiting to see some. I don't see any yet. Live chat. Remember to, yeah. I don't know. Huh. Just waiting for somebody to drop me a comment here. Let me know they're watching. Not on the Facebook page, obviously, because I can't see those, but on the YouTube. The YouTubes. Got some giveaway products I talked to you guys about a little bit earlier. Some cool hats, some fly tying kits. The fly tying kit probably be handy right now. Everybody's staying inside and kind of doing their own thing. All right, so I'm gonna stop right about there. Splitting this material up a little bit. There we go. Get that tied in. Okay, so tarantula hair gets put away. Yesterday when I tied this tarantula hair in, I did some on the back and then some on the front shank as well. And I didn't like using it on the front shank once it was all said and done. And the reason why was because it, when I used it on the front shank, I felt like I used too much of the shank and was not getting the enough space on the front of it for my head. So let's go ahead and grab some marabou here. I've got some olive marabou I'm gonna grab. With all of these fly tying materials, it's just ridiculous. So coming back in here, grabbing a piece of marabou. We're gonna go ahead and tie this in. I really like this MFC barred marabou. I really like it. I like it a lot. Coming in here, gonna tie this in. Hello. I'm not going to go too far up here. I'd like to leave this last section of my hook free when I'm tying articulated bugs. The reason is so that I can keep enough space up at the front of the hook for articulation movement. Comb this out a little bit just because there's a lot of marabou on this. It's winding up all over the place. All right, that's the profile of the back there. Make sure that gets combed out a little bit. All right, and then I'm going to take my last part of this rear section is going to be to take a little bit of olive bucktail and a little bit of white, and it's going to be, the white is actually the bottom of its belly hair off of the deer. So where is that? Find that for you real quick. Right here. Okay, so I've got my olive, and then I've got my belly hair there. And the reason why I'm using two different colors is so that I can get the top profile, you know, and the bottom of the fish, or the bait fish, is obviously a lighter color than the top of the bait fish. So that's what I'm working on here. So I'm grabbing some of these longer fibers down on the bottom here, and I'm going to use these for this bottom part right here. I'm going to tie these in, and they're going to just kind of kick back like this and give a little bit more color to the bottom. And then I'm going to take these olive fibers here, and I'm going to tie them in up top, kicking back like this. Not a lot, just enough so that underneath this fly, you're going to be able to see the color difference between the bottom and the top. If you notice on this fly that I tied yesterday, you can barely see the color difference from the bottom. Like from the bottom you can see it, but I'm gonna make sure that when I tie this next one, I get a little bit more of this white showing on the bottom on that rear section, just so that I get that. And I'm tapering this. This rear section on this one is going to be a little bit less bulky than the top section on this. If you look at this fly, they're about the same. And on this fly, I'm gonna try to keep that profile just a little bit smaller than the front section. And I'm hoping that when these things actually wind up getting wet, that they're gonna that's gonna cause it to swim better. So yeah, let's see here. I'm still waiting for somebody to comment. If you're commenting, I can't see it, so I apologize. I don't see any. Yeah. Let's see. Trying to monitor this stream and see what kind of tension we're getting here. Twisting that up a little bit, and then wrapping that in. Some loose wraps. I'm gonna hold all that up on the top of that hook shank there, so that doesn't go over the bottom to the bottom, just like that. That's up top, and I'm gonna take some more loose wraps. I'm gonna make sure that's tied in, make sure that it's all in the right spot there. But then I'm gonna take some more loose wraps, and I'm just gonna come back a little bit with it so it pins all that down. So there you go. So it's not flaring out a ton back here. I can take that and I can wrap it back a little bit. Get that up like that. That to me has a really good profile. Now I'm going to come in with my olive. Let me get this wrapped in just a little bit cleaner here. I'm not even trimming those ends off right now. Somebody's probably freaking out right now because I'm not doing that. Just bringing it up, tying them all in. All right, so if I duck down so you can see the profile of that white, that's right there. Now I'm gonna come in with my olive. Oop, there's a comment. Brook Trout 1, where did I get this shirt? These are Dark Waters Fly Shop shirts. So I sell these in the Fly Shop. Thanks for the comment. And for those of you that are following right now, I'm doing some giveaways. So if once I get a new shirt order, and maybe I'll do a giveaway of the shirt. And then I also, like you guys saw at the beginning of the video, let me just cut to this here for you real quick. You're gonna get one of these hats possibly once I choose who I'm gonna do the giveaway to. So there's one of them right there. And the other one, this one's super dope. I really like this one. And big props to Sims for letting me give these away, because I bought these and they're too big for me. Like I have a little head, so they're just these hats that I get from Risen. Ryan's probably still super happy that I'm not gonna trade in this Risen hat for a Sims hat. But I ordered those off of the Sims website with my I got like a deal with them for being a guide, and they I had to call him today and I was like, hey, this guy Cameron answered the phone. I said, hey Cameron, I said, I got an endorsement with you guys as a guide. I bought these hats. They're super awesome, but they don't fit me. Can I give them away on my YouTube channel? And I said, I know that's technically like a breach of my contract with Sims. And he said, you know what? He goes, no problem, man. Just give us a shout out. He goes, that's a super cool idea. Better that than paying all the shipping fees and stuff for a return. So I was very thankful to him for that. So I really like Sims gear. I really do. So, all right. So let's get back to this fly here. I'm going to trim that off. Here. Tying all that in. You guys know that I like to leave my hook shank right here. You guys know that I like to leave that somewhat bare so that when I do my articulated part, that it doesn't get in the way. There's not going to be any materials that bind up movement. I'm just trimming some of these that are sticking out a lot so that this profile just goes straight back there. So I think that this is going to, I think that's going to be a really, really good rear end for the back of that fish, or for the back of that streamer. As you can see, this marabou is going to get wet. It's all going to taper back. There's a little bit of flash in there, and we've got that going on. So few wraps of glue on that, and then we'll be good to go. If you guys have any questions at all, like Brook Trout 1 threw me that question, where'd I get that shirt? If you have any questions about this, throw them in the comments, please. So I wasn't even sure that I was able to get comments until I noticed that that somebody commented there. So go ahead, leave me, ask me questions. They don't know. They also don't have to be questions about this fly or about anything in this video. You can ask me random questions about fly fishing or, all that kind of stuff. I'm down for whatever. Like I said, the title of this is quarantine session, so we all have that like stay at home order. And so right now, we're all just kicking it. Quarantined. Technically, I don't think it's a quarantine. Okay, what I'm doing right now is I'm looking for my lines that I use to. There we go, right there. All right, so I've got this. You guys are gonna think this is overkill. I've got 80-pound Seagar, right? That's what I'm gonna make this connection with. One, because it fits through the eye easily. So like when I push this through, boom. So you still have a lot of movement there and potential for articulation. And the other reason why I'm going to do it is because you never know what you're going to hook into. And if I wind up at some point hooking into a muskie or a pike, I'd like to land the fish. So that way it's not going to break me off. Probably common sense to all of you that are out there watching, but there you go. The other thing that happened was yesterday I discovered something really cool, and that is that these cone head beads that I would normally use for like steelhead, or I have these big cones, these big pink ones, right, like this. These big cone head beads, I think they're kind of neat when I go to do this loop, and I'll show you why. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this. The next hook that I'm gonna tie on, this was a 1/0 Kona. All right. The next hook that I'm going to use is going to be wow, that's blown out. An Attitude Extra 3/0 Partridge. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this 3/0 hook in my vise. All right. Going to throw some wraps on this. All right. Put that through there. Now check this out. When I use this cone bead to go on the back of here, I'm going to put the cone, I'm going to put the line through there, and I'm going to push this back. And what I realized yesterday that's kind of cool is this cone bead still allows there to be like a big loop in the back of that, so it's not tight. So you can pull that cone. It matches the taper at the end of the hook. Okay, so like it matches this angle right here. It matches this, right? And I'm able to get that thing to lay properly the way I want it to. So I'm going to wrap this in. Not overly snug, but just enough that I can direct the way that line is going to be seated on that hook shank. Okay. And as I work my way forward, I'm going to make sure that this line doesn't twist poorly on the hook. And so my first thing, if you're going to do these right, the first thing that you really want to do is you just want to make sure that line is sitting properly. It's not twisted when I'm wrapping it, and it's putting this in a natural position. That's good. It's just putting this in a very natural position. I really like that. So I when I'm hurrying when I'm tying flies, I don't do that, and it's a bad thing. And so what I'm doing when I'm taking my time here and making sure that this is done right is I'm making sure that line sits right on both sides. Now, I'm not going to come up very far on this. Because I want to be able to put a really big wedge head on the front of here. Yesterday when I did this a live Facebook deal, I came up to about here, and I didn't leave myself enough room, and you can see on the head that I tied yesterday, that still looks good, right? Like that's still a decent head, but I want to be able to do a lot bigger head so that when this thing gets pulled through the water, that head is catching a ton more water and shooting all over the place. So I'm going to come up just a little bit further. I'm going to come up maybe halfway. So I'm going to come up to about there. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on this, and then I'm going to take each piece of this 80-pound fluoro, and I'm going to fold it, and then I'm going to tie it back, and I'm going to end up cutting it off. And the reason why I'm doing that is because then there's not anything that can pull that line out of there. Most of you know that. So there's glue. I'm going to pull this one back and just get a couple wraps in like that, and then I'm going to take and pull this one back and get a couple wraps in. Making sure that's real tight. Now I'm going to cut that off. Those aren't my sharp scissors. These are my sharp scissors. There we go. So now you can see that I've got really good positioning for that articulated shank. I really love how that drops. I love when I hold it each direction. If I, let me do this here for you. Whoops. If no matter what direction I hold this thing in, it's staying down. Like every direction. That means that articulation on there has a ton of movement, and I really like that. One of the things that I said in my video yesterday is that some people might see how much movement there is on that and be discouraged because they think that it might snag or it might foul. I'm going to be really honest with you. It might. But I would rather have a fly that fouls every once in a while on a line and has killer movement in the water than have a fly that doesn't have any good movement in the water and won't foul, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that's not too sticky, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flare a little bit of deer hair on the back of this. And I'm going to do it with this olive color. I'm going to go all the way around the fly. I'm not going to do like I did last time when I took, you know what I could put some white down right here, and then I could put some, let's try it. No, I'm not going to. I'll tell you why. I'm like losing my mind in here. These are really long fibers, and the reason why I want to be able to do it with these really long fibers is because if I were to use these short ones on the bottom right here, what I want to do is I want to spin these big fibers so that they create a little bit of an accentuation of this cone, right? So that all the way around this fly, the materials stick out like this. I explained this in my video yesterday. If I turn this toward you, when I tie these materials in, I want them to stand out on the side like this in a V all the way around, so that it keeps my marabou and other materials that I'm going to put on there from getting in the way of this articulation and keeping it from moving. I have had a lot of flies where I tie an articulation and then all of a sudden there's like loose materials and flash and stuff getting stuck inside those areas. So I'm going to take a decent amount here and tie this in. Again, like I said, if you guys have any questions while I'm doing this, I can see the comments, so go ahead and leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. Those of you that are commenting and subscribed to the channel, I will pick somebody for the giveaway that I'm doing on these videos, so please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think and where you're from, and I'll eventually pick somebody to mail some of these prizes to. Loose wraps, and then pushing it down and around, and now that right there is flaring all the way around that. Let me hold this up here. That's flaring all the way around there, and it's going to stand my materials out. Around that articulated joint. That's what I like. So it's flaring that out. It's going to keep other things from getting inside that joint. repeat my process with my Mylar. I'm going to throw some of this Mylar on here. I'm going to show you another cool trick with this Mylar that you can do. When you fray this out, okay, when you pull that cord out of the Mylar like that, when you fray this out, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this on here just like that. Like, I'm not going to fray the end of that out, but I'm going to take this end, I'm going to twist it. I'm going to, look at that. See how it's pushing that bucktail down? I'm going to look at the profile. I'm going to back that off a little bit. I'm going to go down, picking that up. All right, now I'm going to put like 1 or 2 loose wraps on that. Or not loose wraps, but I'm going to anchor it, okay? So that's got that where I want it right now. Then I'm going to take my scissors or my fingers, whichever, and I'm just going to fray out that Mylar. You could just tie flash in if you want, you know, right? But I really like the way this Mylar is all crinkly coming back here. Yeah, that looks like this. See how this articulation is still just flopping around back there? It's completely free to move behind that deer hair and Mylar. And so now, at this point, I'm going to throw 2 more. Nope, not yet. I'm going to throw a little bit of tarantula hair on, just a little bit. I'm going to go up right almost to the front of this, not quite. Okay, I'm going to go about from where I am here. I'm going to do about probably 4 or 5 wraps, and I'm just going to take it to right there. That's all I'm going to do, and I'm just filling in. I'm filling in some space. What's up, Xavier? Thanks for the comment, man. It's helping me realize what's working and what's not working on this live feed. So I do appreciate the comment. All right, so coming in here. Like I said, I'm only going to go to about there. Palmering this in. Combing it out as I do. Okay, we're going to go to right there. I have 2 more materials that I'm going to tie in before I go to tie in, before I go to start this head. Making sure that's tied in real tight. All right, so I'm going to come in with some marabou, and I'm also going to come in with some more hackle feathers. So I'm going to throw hackle feathers in first, and then I'm going to go from my hackle feathers to the marabou, from the marabou to the head. Okay. Am I the only one that gets allergies when I'm tying flies? Like my nose gets itchy and all that? No, now you guys think I got the virus. Oh, here we go. So I got a question just now. What kind of fish am I going to target with this fly? I'm actually targeting, with this fly, I'm actually targeting fishermen. This fly has nothing to do with fit. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, they say that some lures are made to catch fish and some are made to catch fishermen. Never mind. And this isn't a lure anyways. I will use this for a few different species. I will use this for brown trout, which sounds crazy because it's huge, right? This thing's like, 5 inches long. Not that big of a deal. I will use this for browns. I will use this for smallmouth bass. I will use this for pike. I probably wouldn't swing this for muskie. I want a little bit bigger. Not to say that a muskie wouldn't hit this, because I think it would, in the right circumstances. And especially, it's funny. Like some of the guys that I know that fly fish for muskies up here in the UP as well. Some of them I know are pretty adamant that big flies are not always the answer, especially like early in the year. Some of them will use a 5-inch fly, so this might work well for that. But I would totally use this for browns, for smallmouth, and for pike. I would use this for cohos in the fall if they're hitting streamers. We've got a lot of really aggressive cohos that come in to some of our Lake Superior tributaries, and it's awesome when you can see some of those really big, or not really big, cohos they're not huge, but like when you see some of those fish come shooting out of the logs for your fly, I mean, it gets insane. It's some of the coolest stuff that you'll ever see, and it startles you. There's moments when strip, and then all of a sudden you just see out of the log jam this thing just comes shooting out and chasing your fly, and it's absolutely crazy. So yeah, I would definitely fish for cohos with this in the fall. Kings will smash a streamer if they're pissed off. They will crush a streamer. I had a guy that I was guiding this summer that told me fish story, right? But there's a guy, and we've gotten to be friends at this point. But he told me that he was fishing once in a river that had late fall run kings, and he literally watched a king bite a brook trout in half. I just was upset that it was in its spot or something, and he literally just watched the king bite that fish in 2 pieces. He said there was half of the fish went floating downriver on either side of him. He didn't even eat it. He just bit it right in half. That is crazy. That sounds absolutely nuts to me. And the guy seemed very honest. I mean, when I was fishing with him, he didn't seem like the kind of guy that needed to make himself feel better by telling a fish story. I believe what he told me, because it was, I've been fishing in fall run season, and I've seen decent sized browns. I've seen decent sized browns just come shooting out of the water that are being chased by something else. So I am not. So Brook Trout 1 wants to know, are you born and raised in the UP? Both my parents are from there. I'm down in Kenosha, and my camp's just south of Republic. So I'm not originally from the UP. I'm originally from central Wisconsin. When I was young, I went out to Southern California, moved out there for a little bit, and then I wound up in Chicago for a while. And then I moved up here, and I love it. And to be honest, you probably won't find me going anywhere else. I absolutely love the UP. So appreciate the question. This is what we've got going so far. We got a really good profile on this streamer. I really like it. I like the barred marabou matching with the barred hackle. There's a little bit of flash in there that you can see as I move this thing around. It's got, I used Mylar. I reverse tied in some Mylar. That Mylar helps profile some of that bucktail down to where I want it. But then it also gives kind of a crinkly flash to it. On the bottom of this back end, you can see we put in that white belly hair from the deer. And then as I move forward, I'm going to do that again. I'm going to take some more belly hair here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tie that in just like this. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start building the back of the head. So you've got kind of this collar right here, this bucktail collar, and that's what I'm going to start working on. Now on this fly, I'm able to work on it back a little bit farther. You can see on this other one as I hold it up, I didn't save myself as much room as this one. So I'm going to be able to get a little bit bigger of a head out of this fly than I was the other one that I tied yesterday. So I'm going to take a pretty healthy size clump right here of this white deer hair, belly hair. I think that's what that is. I think that's belly hair. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my best as I tie this in to keep this right on the what is right now looks like the top, but it, you know, this is the bottom of that hook shank. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to twist my bobbin like that. I always do that when I'm tying with GSP. I just grab that and I twist it. You know, I let that spin for a little bit so that it takes that that flat GSP and then it makes it cylindrical and lets you do that. So I'm going to take this. What I'm going to do here is wet this marabou back so it's a little out of my way, just like that. I'm going to take this clump, I'm going to put it right on the bottom there, just like that. And I'm going to put a few loose wraps on there, 3. Now, when I come up on this, I'm pushing up. I'm pinching and I'm pushing up on this so that as I flare this, it's staying on this half of the shank. That's the bottom now. So when I pull this back, that's what we're going to get. Now I'm going to hold that down and I'm going to put a couple of healthy tight wraps on there. And then I'm going to end up cutting off this access right here. Okay? Now what I'm doing is I'm making sure that that profile there, I'm going to try to get, there you go, put my gray shirt behind it so that you can actually see it. I'm going to put that there and I'm going to check and make sure that, so see on this side, it's up a little bit high on the side. So I'm going to push that back down. So there you go. You've got there and you've got there. And I'm happy with that. All right, I'm really happy with that. So what I'm going to do now, pull a little out. I'm going to come back to this top part of it here. And now I'm going to take my olive and I'm going to do the same thing with the olive. And because this hair is quite a bit longer, like if you can see, if I hold this up there, that's way longer. I'm going to cut it part way up. So why am I not using the mountain goat hair? Because it's not every day you can get a mountain goat, man. It's a great question. Some of you guys watched that last video about the mountain goat. I have a mountain goat leg. In fact, it's probably down here somewhere. Yeah, it's at the bottom of my Rubbermaid bins. Otherwise, I would just pull it out and show you guys. I have a mountain goat leg. I did a video of that. That's awesome. I appreciate you commenting that, actually. To answer another question, so the fish will attack this fly as a predator rather than food. I would say this: if you're fishing fall run fish, yes. Like if you're fishing a fish that is coming into spawn, then yes. However, I will fish this if I fish it in the summertime in like a local river then yeah, you know, a lot of these flies that mimic really, really erratic movement do trigger predatory instincts. And those predatory instincts, are they one or the other? Like, are they food or just aggression? I don't think that there is an appropriate answer definitively one way or the other. I would say this, that you have the chance of both. And so, like, when I'm doing fall run fish and I'm fishing in a run where I know there's kings and cohos, I will fish this earlier when they first come in. I'll fish this right away, and the reason why is because if they're in there and they're trying to just kind of, you know, call dibs on a run, that's gonna be what they do. They're gonna get pissed off and they're gonna hit. You know, a lot of guys that fish for fall run fish, they'll tell you, in a lot of cases, you know, those fish aren't in there to eat. They got one thing on their mind, you know. So that's where I derive that thought process. But, you know, we don't know. I mean, you can't say definitively. If somebody tells you that they know everything about fishing, don't listen to anything they say ever again. So that's my guess. My guess is that when those cohos come out and they charge, they're just angry and they're coming in to smash something. However, like a smallmouth though, like if I was going to use this fishing for smallmouth, I would absolutely think that a smallmouth would chase this for food. So it's just, those are just my thoughts there. Like I said, I could be wrong, but as you noticed, I tied that top part in. Now you've got it split top and bottom. You can see how when I tied this fly yesterday, I did the same thing, but I'm able to start back a little bit further. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue that process to about right here. From about right here forward, I'm going to strictly be tying in olive, but I am going to do probably one more white belly hair here and then one more olive on top to keep that bottom part of the fly profiling white. I hope that answered your question, Lou. I hope that answered your question about the predatory strikes. Cut to some of these cameras here so you guys can actually see what I'm doing as I'm doing this. Just combing the guard hairs out. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do it. I got a giveaway. I'm going to be giving away, that's not it. Here it is. Fly tying kit. This has all the materials in it for tying the Davy Jones, which is another one of the videos that I did. Got some Flyman fishing stickers, one of my cards, but all of those are in there. You've got popper heads, you've got the hooks, you've got the articulated shanks, the Estaz, the Marabou, the Flash, and you have instructions that you can follow on my YouTube channel, one of my other tying videos, for one of those giveaways. So, I'm going to go the other way here. Take this clump. Oh, let me cut you back over to here. Going to take this chunk, right, and I'm going to lay it in right over that. Sorry about the lighting getting washed out. A couple loose wraps. I'm going to come back a little bit further. There. Ooh, not quite that far. There's two. I'm going to have to do some more there, but essentially that's what I wanted to do. Now, some of when I first started doing this, when I would have that flare out like straight up, you saw how this was coming up like that. The cool thing about this is when you go to do these heads and you start spinning this hair, is that when you get to this point, you're going to be laying in more bucktail over the top, so it's going to get pushed back no matter what. All this stuff is going to get pushed back, so I don't worry about it too much. The only thing that I will pay attention to here is that my colors are staying top and bottom. So my colors are staying top and bottom. So like right here, I want to pinch this and kind of pull it up. Pulling that down. A few more wraps. Okay, there. So you can see that that is split evenly. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut off that access right there. Leaving myself more room on the front of this hook shank to tie in my wedge head. I call it wedge head. I don't even know if that's what you're supposed to call it. Just tying it in. All right, so there's that so far. I'm gonna come in again on the top here with more olive. And when I tie this one in, what I'm going to do, because you can see the white on the bottom there is quite a bit, right? What I'm going to do now is when I tie this collar in, I'm actually going to leave the butts tied in, and I'm going to push them back. So I'm combing out my guard hairs here. I'm going to take a rough measurement of how far that's going to go back, like that. And then I'm going to take about a 1/4 inch further. So like this, I'm going to leave this. I'm just going to straighten out. All I did was I just straightened that out. I'm going to push this back. And this is where we start developing our head that we're going to end up trimming. All right, so twisting that up. Couple loose wraps. Holding it on the top. I'm coming up from the bottom with my fingers, and I'm holding that up on top. And now I'm going to pinch that and make sure that that ties in, but that it stays on the top. Push that back. All right, now that that's tied in, now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take olive bucktail, and these are going to be decent sized chunks of bucktail, and I'm going to trim the tips off. You'll see what I do here. Okay, so as I pull the guard hairs out of this, and I comb the guard hairs out like I did just for the last one, I do this every time I use bucktail. Okay, I'm combing that out. What I'm going to do is, if you have your stuff like this, these are the tips inside here. These are the butt sections. I'm going to come in and I'm going to trim the tips of this right off. I'm going to cut those right off. The reason why I'm doing that is so that I can lay this on top of here like this, and I'm going to tie that in, and then we are going to straight up spin that. So now that I've got that twisted, make sure that I can come back with it. There's 1, 2, 3. Before I spin it, I'm going to push it back. I'm going to hold it back like this. Now, there we go. Now I'm spinning it. Pushing it back. Working it around. Put a couple tight wraps in front of it. You don't have to go crazy. Now you see how that's automatically pushing these collar fibers back. You can see how that's pushing them back like that. That's the idea. So I'm just going to keep doing this all the way forward through the rest of this hook shank. And then we're going to, once I get that situated, then I'm going to trim it up with a razor, and hopefully we get a better result than we did yesterday with that other one. One thing I don't know is as you spin deer hair, if I did more layers of less thickness, of less density, would that turn out better than more density than less layers? I don't know the answer to that. If you know the answer to that and you're watching and you're like, who is this fool that's trying to show us how to tie flies? Give me the answer. No idea. No idea what that answer would be. Same process over and over and over. Give the video a like, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing this more and more. And really appreciate you guys staying tuned. Let me know where you're watching from. Throw me a comment. Tell me where you're watching from. Hope you're all safe. Hope you're all healthy. This sickness stuff that's going around is a bummer. I am booking for trips this next season still. We're expecting to be underway 100% within the next few months. So if you want to get a trip in, go to the website, darkwatersflyshop.com, and then and go ahead and click the book a trip link. And when you do that, it'll prompt you to say what kind of species you're trying to fish for and all that kind of stuff. And then you know, we can figure out exactly what you want, and then get you catching fish up in the UP. Oh, that's kind of funny. You're not going to be able to see this, but you're not going to be able to see that, but there is red, like blood, on that. Every once in a while you get some bucktail maybe that's got a little bit of... Never mind. That's horrible. Bambi. Bambi. All right. Just stacking away here. Give me a comment. Give me a sub. We're doing a giveaway. So I've got some really cool Sims hats that I'm doing a giveaway for. Check this out. Boom. Come on. Boom and boom. Sims hats. Special thanks to Sims. I ordered these. They were too big for me. And I called them. I said, look, I don't want to return these things if I don't have to. So can I do a giveaway on my channel? And I didn't want to breach my contract with them because I on their guide program or whatever. They said, go for it, man. We love it. So huge fan of Sims. I really, really like Sims a lot. They've got some of the most durable waders that I've ever used. I used a number of different companies for waders in the past, and I beat the crap out of waders. Like I do. I beat the crap out of waders. I think last year, in between 300 and 400 miles on my waders, probably, because I do all walk and wade trips, you know, and I'm out 6 days a week, you know, from spring through fall. So it's crazy how many miles that I end up putting on a set of waders, and then trying to find a set that's good is tough. To find a set of waders that you can really depend on, that last well. I'm just huge fan of Sims. I actually use their Freestones, which I use the Freestone waders, which are kind of their entry level, I suppose. They're they're not as expensive as some of them, but man, I literally I have used them so much, and I've never had any issues with them. Anyways, okay, I'm gonna show you a trick here. This is kind of cool. I learned this from watching Gunnar Brammer tie flies. He takes a piece of plastic like this, right? And we're gonna cut this up. So this I cut this square out of here. He probably learned it from Kelly or somebody. So basically, this is kind of cool. If you want to whip finish this, but you don't want to catch materials in there, I'm going to take and cut a slit in this piece of plastic like that. Okay. And what I'm going to do is see how this piece of plastic is where can I show you this? In this frame so you can see it. Okay, so it's cut just like that. I am going to slide that over the top of the hook eye, just like that. I'm going to trap all the materials backwards. Okay, so that my hook eye is sticking out the front. Oh, but I got to get my thread out of there. So, boom. 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 Okay, so check this out. So you can take this, you can put some wraps in there. Now, I'm going to take and I'm going to whip finish that. I'm going to go 1, 2, ooh, hello, 2, 3. Pull that tight. I'm going to do one more. 1, 2, 3. Kaboom. Done. Pull that off. Sometimes the plastic gets stuck in there. You just pop it out. Now you're good to go. That's completely whip finished. So now I can cut that. Just like that. I just lost a battery. So that's fine. It's a perfect timing, actually, for that battery to go dead. Another question: out of all the species up here, what's my favorite? I've got a mixed answer for you. Out of all the species up here, what is my favorite? I will say I value the brook trout more than any other fish. I value it, and the reason why is because we have natural reproducing brook trout up here in the droves, and I really learned to respect it more because when I started guiding, I had lots of clients that were coming up, and I'd say, hey, what do you want to catch? I mean, like, I like to go mousing, and I like to, catch big browns and do different things like that, but I'll tell you right now, I had all these guys that had been fishing all over the world as clients. They'd come in and they'd fished all over the world, and I'd say, what do you want to catch? And I'm expecting them to say, we want to go catch lake run browns, Lake Superior. We want to catch, big pike or muskies or whatever, we want to catch. And I get some of that. But these guys that have fished all over the world were coming to me and they were saying, Seth, sorry, I've got like fibers all over the place. They're saying, hey, we want to catch brook trout. 5-6 inch brook trout. We don't care. We'll do it all day long. And 3-weight rods, And so I started like going, wow, like there's something to this. Well, then I started realizing like you can't catch 12-inch brook trout everywhere. We get a lot of the 5-6 inch class, to 8-inch and all that, but we get tons of really big brook trout too. A buddy of mine put a 17-inch brook trout in the net last summer. So This is a real deal. I mean, we got a lot of it. So, valued fish, brook trout. Favorite fish to catch. Favorite fish to catch. My favorite thing to do is probably mousing for browns. And I say that because there's nothing like hearing that huge gulp in the middle of the night in the pitch black. It's a crazy adventure. It takes a lot of guts to get out in the middle of the night and fish without light and all that kind of stuff. So the difficulty level goes up. But I think mousing for browns is probably my favorite. Other questions. Just retired, and this is the first time I've watched someone tie a fly. Well, congratulations, and I'm sorry that it had to be me. I'm from Houston, Texas, and travel to UP in Upper Wisconsin almost every year. Awesome, man. That's super cool, man. I appreciate the comment, and I appreciate you letting us know you're from up here. That's awesome. Or at least have a cabin up here. What we have up here is just amazing. So as you can see, as I'm getting ready to finish this here, let me do something super fast. I'm going to change the battery on this camera so that I can zoom in again. This is going to go really fast, I promise you. Battery's out, battery's in, camera is on, coming back in. Oh, maybe not. Where are we? Boom. All right, so check this out. Now I'm back here. We're going to zoom in on that fly. Going to focus it for you. Slam dunk right there. Okay, so you can see I trimmed the bottom flat. All right, so I trimmed it back. I clipped a couple of those white hairs right here. And so you don't want to cut into that stuff too much. And so that's why when I trim that, I pull it back a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing. So do the bottom, and then I do the top. And when you're spinning that deer hair, you notice how I was pulling down tight on it. That's so that my thread would come in really close to the top of that hook shank, keeping my thread wraps right on top of that hook shank, so that when I come in with my razor blade, and I come in with this, I can keep it close. Now I'm going to pull all that off. I always start by using a very moderate stroke. You can always cut more off. You can't put it on once you cut it off. So I can already tell that this one versus the one we did yesterday is going to be a lot better. I'm going to take a little bit more off. I'm really going to make this head as much of a as flat as I can possibly get it. Okay, so you can tell that's getting down there. Come in on the bottom here again. Now, yesterday what I did was I came in with my razor on each side, like this and this. I'm not going to do that this time. I'm actually going to come in with my scissors. And I'm going to look at this, and I'm going to start out far. I'm going to start out here. Okay, I'm going to start out far like that. I'm going to look at about how much farther I need on each side to make this symmetrical first. So right now you can see that's this side here is trimmed a little bit shorter than this side. So this bottom part, I'm just going to take a hair off of that. So now that looks a little bit better. The next thing that I'm going to do, so I'm going to come in and trim a few of these. And then what I'm going to do is see how these are square, these edges of that fly are square like that. I'm actually going to just round those just a little bit, not a lot. And this is where you've got to be really careful. pinch it a few times. The reason why I pinch that a few times is so that sometimes there's fibers that are trapped in there, and they're gonna move around on you when you start pinching it like that. And you want them to all kind of relax and that thread to be right where you want it to be. But that right there, I'm pretty happy with that, guys. I might just trim. Sometimes I just need to stop because otherwise it's like I start trimming and trimming and trimming and trimming, and then it gets just way too carried away. But that right there, I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest. I feel like that looks pretty decent. I'm going to come back, clean all this up, and all right, let me switch to a different camera view here for you so that we can get a good hard look. Actually, I'm going to go back to this just for a second. It's a good hard look at this fly. I'm really excited about this one. This is awesome. So this tail on the bottom of this. Oh, before I do that, real quick, I'm going to take some head cement and or some Zap-A-Gap. I'm going to come in right here on that tip, and I'm going to actually just let that soak right into those fibers, top and bottom. I will literally just get a large amount of Zap-A-Gap and throw it in there and let it get in there like that. I'll coat these close fibers like that. I'll just get a little bit all over the place. You could put eyes on this if you wanted to, like on the sides. I really have no plan to do that here. This is just making sure that this is gonna hold all those fibers where I want them to be. I will fish this fly on a sink tip. So it pulls it down in the water. This fly will kick like crazy with that head on there. So the general idea is that with this articulation, the rear end on this hook is very flat like a sail. So if I hold it down like this, you can see how it's I'm going to grab the top of it here. I'm going to hold it down. You can see how it's narrow, right? It is wide. It's tall top to bottom, but it's narrow this way. And the idea is that when this thing catches water and it kicks around in the water, whether it goes up or down, side to side, this back end is going to catch, and it's just gonna shoot all over the place. So that is your articulated fly. This is basically it's a type of drunken disorderly. It's not the same kind that Tommy Lynch ties. He puts a rattle in. He uses, I think, some mallard flank and some other things. I think this bottom strip that he ends up using for the chin on this thing ends up being like a marabou. I'm not 100% sure, but that's just my variation of it. I'm really happy with the way that turned out. I appreciate you guys watching this video. Like I said, as far as the giveaway stuff goes, I will be picking some people that are commenting on the next this video and maybe some of the other live videos that I'm going to be doing. You got to be subscribed to the channel. Again, those prizes are going to be a fly tying kit. This kit ties the Davy Jones, which is a popper that I tie. Comes with a howitzer, popper heads, marabou. It's in a white and kind of like blue color. So it comes with a bunch of Flyman fishing stickers. That's one of the giveaway prizes I'm going to do. You get a video to follow that along with on there. And then the other thing that I've got are two Sims hats. I'll give one person one and one person the other. So I really appreciate you guys watching this. And I will catch you in the next video. If I remain, open at this point, I can do these videos pretty regularly, so I will. I'll go ahead and maybe start doing one of these a day for a little while, or one every other day for a while. I don't know what else I'm going to tie. Leave me some ideas, and I will catch you in the next video. See you guys. All right, now I got to figure.